All right. Welcome. My name is Chip Barrelly. I'm here with Stephanie Langford. She is the owner of keeperofthehome.org, and this is the open house for the same. Stephanie, welcome. Thank you for coming today.
Hi, Chip. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Wanted to start with a little bit of housekeeping. If you haven't already dialed into the audio, please do so now. You can also use your computer's integrated audio system to listen in. During the call, you will all be on mute. If you would like to submit questions, please do so using the questions feature in your webinar's control panel. I generally try to field the questions as they come, but unless, of course, one is going to be answered in the general flow of the conversation. If you need me to go back to a previous slide, please let me know and I can do that for you. This is the deal we're working with today. The annual revenue is $108,729. The annual expenses $23,000. We get an annual profit of $84,951. The monthly uniques are going to be 616,000. We got page views of 950,000. The asking price today is going to be $360,000 for this site. All of these are hyperlinks that you can use on latonas.com to check the graphs that go according with the information. Our site has been registered since 2007, so had a little bit of work on this, huh, Stephanie?
Yeah, we've been going for a while.
Very nice. All right. So tell me a little bit about the history of the site. Yeah, you've been doing it for a while now, obviously, but what made you start the site, and how have you progressed since over the last 8 years?
Yeah, well, we started it, I guess we're in our 8th year now, and I first began it because 8 years ago on the web, there really wasn't a lot out there speaking to natural and healthy living, nutrition, things like that, especially for moms, for homemakers, for families, and that was something I was passionate about, I was learning about, and so I really wanted to bridge that gap, I guess, and put the information out there. And so that's what I began doing, and I realized that there was definitely a need for it. There was an audience out there, and I was surprised with how the site began to grow. I didn't expect that in the beginning, but it really resonated with people. And so it just began to really naturally, organically grow over the years and eventually became something that our family decided would be an income earner. And so we turned it into really more of a professional blog that ultimately brought in a really good income. And that's really what we've been doing with the site for the last few years, just continuing to really grow it and maximize the revenue.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, now this is your Pinterest account, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that is the strongest of the social media that you're using, correct?
That's right. Pinterest is where we get the great majority of our social media traffic, although we have others that are strong as well. But Pinterest fits really well with our site because Pinterest does, people on Pinterest really want to see how-to. They want tutorials, they want recipes, and that is really what we specialize in. So it's a perfect place for us to reach out and find new readers.
Okay, all right, very good. And then this would be your Facebook account, which also has a pretty strong following, 105,000 likes. How have you been using this, and how often do you use it?
So we are posting on Facebook daily, usually between 7 and 10 times a day. On average at the moment, we're posting once every 2 hours. And we're doing a combination of sharing our content about half of the time, and then the other half of the time we are sharing inspirational images or quotes. We're asking questions to get our community talking and engaging with one another, or we're sharing other relevant information. And that's a really, really strong community. It has been for the last several years, and that's the #2 place that we get our social media referrals from.
Very good, very good. Yeah, Facebook. Now tell me something, has Facebook's change in their algorithms about reach affected you at all?
Well, it has. It's just made us have to stay on our toes more. We've been very intentional about keeping up with the trends and learning what works and what doesn't on Facebook, and so sometimes that requires some experimentation and changing the way we do things. We currently post on Facebook more often now than we used to, but since we've been intentional about doing that and really watching what other popular pages are doing and really watching what our readers are engaging with, our traffic has been going up. So I think everybody across the web is fighting the Facebook algorithm changes, but we've been seeing success with it lately.
Very good. All right. Oops. There we go. Now this is to show the history of the site. This is the Wayback Machine. It's on archive.org. Anybody can go and check this out themselves. If you would mouse over one of these and click on it, it would show you what the site was like at that particular time. So obviously, have quite a bit of movement that you've been doing a lot in the last 4 years. Had a little bit of a gap here. Was this something just that it was running on autopilot, or was it just that Wayback Machine did not catch it?
I think the machine just didn't catch it because we've never had a time when we weren't regularly posting.
Very nice. That answers that question. Now we're getting into your Google Analytics here. This is just showing that you have been steady pretty much constantly for the entire year 2014. Couple of little spikes. Do you want to talk about what the spikes are from?
The spikes are really just when we have a post that does really well. You could say go viral, but it's hard to say exactly what going viral means these days. But usually those spikes are when we have a highly shareable post that does particularly well on Pinterest, Facebook, or StumbleUpon.
Very good. Very good. Now this shows the different countries that you're popular in. Obviously the United States the strongest, which is very good to see. Others are going to be all English speaking. Now, tell me something. Do you have any idea why you don't have much of a push into some of these other countries?
I'm not sure exactly why. I think that we probably do appeal to more of an American and Canadian audience just because our writers all live in North America. So probably the way that we're writing is particularly relevant to North Americans. But we do find that the other readers that we get from other countries are usually English-speaking expats that are living elsewhere, and they really want to read something that's relevant to their lives.
I understand. How many writers do you actually employ right now?
Well, we don't employ any of them, as in we don't pay for content, but we have about 10 regular writers at the moment in addition to myself.
Okay, and would they be willing to continue on with the site with a new owner?
I assume that if everything stayed as it is right now, if they were able to continue on a similar writing schedule, the requirements remained the same, that they would want to continue. The main reason that they write for the site is because of the excellent exposure that they get because of our traffic. And so it's really a win-win for both of us.
Very nice. All right. A little bit more of your Google Analytics. This is showing the organic search is obviously your strongest, but you do very well in social, and the direct searches. Basically, that just shows that you do have some control over your traffic also. One question down here, I see that it says paid search, but when we spoke earlier, you said that you did none of that, correct?
We've never done, any paid advertising on Google or anything like that. We've done a few Facebook boosted posts here and there when we want to particularly get something out, to make sure a lot of people see it. But we don't actually advertise for our traffic. It's all organic.
Okay, very good. Very good. Some more of your Google Analytics for everybody to take a look at. These are going to be the different keywords that are hitting. It's a little odd to me that we did not find out what the major one was. I guess it could be a lot of different things, but the tree oil uses, build the home, all ranking very well. So how do you push the sessions? Is it strictly Facebook posts and whatnot that get these back?
Sorry, how do we push these particular keywords? Like, where is it?
Where are the keywords coming from? Yes.
They're really just they're coming from the content. So I can see by looking at these particular keywords that these are just coming from some of our posts that have done especially well in Google. They're from posts that have really resonated with people and been shared frequently. So I think their ranking in Google has just really risen a lot, and they've become a popular way that people find us initially.
Very good. And you spoke to me just a little bit about the bounce rate, and you said that was coming mainly from the Pinterest account. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right, because Pinterest tends to have a higher bounce rate than a lot of other social media referrals and higher than Google search. And I think that the main reason is that with Pinterest, people click on things quickly, and they'll click on a lot of things in a short period of time. And what they're doing is not necessarily wanting to read that post at that exact moment, but they're actually wanting to decide if it's something they should pin to their board for permanent future reference. And so they'll quickly jump onto the page, say, yes, I like this, go back and pin it to their account so they can go back and reference it later. So I think that's what really ups our bounce rate.
I understand, but the traffic is still coming in and it's still human traffic, so that's a very important factor.
And once those posts get pinned, then they're seen by other people who are friends with, who are, follow those other accounts. So that still continues to drive more traffic.
Very nice. All right. Now this just shows from your social network. Obviously, Pinterest is your strongest account. We're doing over 1 million views from that. But just as well, you've got a very strong Facebook following too. What about these others down here? Are you not using these as much, or do you not use them at all?
We actually don't use those ones at all. The only other one that we actively use is Twitter. And Twitter just doesn't seem to be where our readers are as much. Pinterest and Facebook really resonate with our readers. That's where they are, and so that's where we really put our time and effort into engaging with that audience. Stumble Upon, that's an option that we give on each page, on each post on the site that people can share us through Stumble Upon. So that's where that comes from.
I see. All right. Very nice. Now, this is the Majestic SEO. This is, shows a little bit of your backlink history. Obviously, the citation flow is very strong. Got a good trust flow also. Over 172,000 external backlinks off of 2,500 domains. Very good. Did you do any link sharing or buying of links, or is this all organically grown?
I've never done any of that. Honestly, everything has just come from people wanting to share our content because they just actually really like it and find it valuable. So it's all been completely organic.
I understand. See, you got some nice educational backlinks also. This, as I said to you earlier, this bothers me that all our government workers are looking at your site while they're at work, but that is what it is. So
hey, they're linking to it. That's
there you
good.
go. So it's a plus no matter what. Very good. This is a little bit of the show of the backlink breakdown. This just shows that well over 90% of your backlinks are text links, which is exactly what we would like to see. People are stealing a little bit of your content for their own personal use, but very, very little. So well done on that. These are going to be what Majestic SEO thinks are your 5 biggest backlinks that are sending you the most referral searches. This is the +Google.com, +Google.com, +Google.com. We also have the Huffington Post. Have you been working with either of these on purpose, or is this just something that grew up all by itself?
No, I think those have just been organic links. I'm not exactly sure where they came from.
Okay, very good. Well, I mean, 11 herbs and spices for the holidays, that would be a big one. I'm sure people want to know about it. So, very nice. Your SEM Rush. This is just showing the traffic that we showed a little bit of from the Google Analytics. It does show that we have a nice steady stream right across. I did want to point out that to replace this type of traffic, they estimate a cost of $41,000 just to get it anywhere near where you are right now. So that's very strong. Doing really well on this. And your organic ads are 100%. So excellent. The keywords that you're getting hit on the most, the tea tree oil, and it's page rank 6, and tea tree oil users, page rank 3, homemade cleaners, page rank 1. Doing very well with this. Now, are you working with any SEO companies to get this work done like this?
No, we haven't worked with any SEO companies. I mean, we've tried to make sure that our site is optimized for SEO, and we use an SEO plugin. so that when each plug is preparing to be published, we can make sure that it's going to, perform as well as possible when it comes to SEO. We make sure that we're using, H1, H2, H3 headlines and trying to highlight words that might be important using relevant titles that would be, searchable or obvious for people for sharing purposes. But we're just trying to use good SEO practices. That we're not doing it in any other way.
Okay, very good. This shows your unique visitors. Obviously, you are trending upward at the end of the year. Is this a cyclical thing, or is this more that just you hit something very nice down at the end of the year?
We just worked really hard this past year to make sure that we are continuing to grow our traffic. We did have a really strong finish to the year. We had a few posts that did really well. We were trying to put some really shareable stuff out to make sure we had a strong finish to the year.
Very good. And this just shows that the page views coincide directly with it. But as you can see from this page, we're doing right about 525,000 right here. When you check the views, it goes all the way up to the over 800,000. So that shows you about 1.6 page views per person. So obviously, when they get on the site, they are interested in more than just what is their first thought. So.
Yeah, and we've tried to make sure that on the site, it's easy for them to find something else that would be interesting and relevant to them. We have a strong navigation set up at the top of the site. We also have related posts at the bottom of each post, and as well on our sidebar we have some popular posts and then most recent posts as well. So there are a lot of ways where they can find more content and continue to look around the site.
I got you. Very nice. Very nice. All right, I'm going to let you do most of the talking here, but just talk to me about the plugins that you have.
Right. Well, we're using WordPress.org, so that's self-hosted WordPress. We've been doing that for about 4 or 5 years, I believe. And so we use plugins to add to the custom setup that we already have. So a few of these, for example, Ad Rotate is how we put up private sponsored ads on the sidebar. Akismet is for keeping spam out. It works really well. We have a contact form set up. Ahology is how we share. It's what we use for putting up posts on Pinterest.
Okay. Very nice.
Go to the next one.
Got some more here.
Yep. There's quite a few pages of plugins. We use plugins quite a bit. Let's see what else. So, heat mapping is something that we've done at times just to make sure that we're optimizing our page to understand where readers are clicking. Of course, we've got, a comments plugin so that people can easily comment and reply back and forth to each other. We've been working on updating all of our recipes, so that's what the recipe plugin is. We have an image optimizer just as far as the file size for the images. We're also set up on FeedBlitz for our email subscriptions, and so that's connected to our RSS feed.
Okay.
Next slide.
You got it. You definitely have some plugins on this.
Yeah. Oh, I think these are ones I've already talked about.
Okay. Gotta go backwards?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, so then we've just got, a hierarchy of categories set up so that we could set up some good navigation. Oh, can you go back one page, Chip?
Yes.
Perfect. And then we've got some things set up as far as our widgets on the sidebar, and then some of the information that we display to our readers at the bottom of each post for things like getting them to sign up to the newsletter. We have our Google Analytics connected so we can track our statistics. We use Genesis Simple Hooks as a really simple way for adding in different bits of code when we want to put something special up on the site. We've been doing some headline testing recently.
Okay.
Next one. And, we've got some things for security, like limiting login attempts. We use pretty links sometimes when we want to create special links for tracking purposes. The CAPTCHA is for our contact page to reduce spam. We use Role Manager because we have various writers and team members, and I wanted to really be able to specify what each person was capable of doing on the site. That's also for security reasons. Then we've got buttons for sharing, and then we're able to create templates as well, so that if we have a post that we use in a repetitive manner, sort of like a regular featured post, then we have a template we can set up to create it really easily. So essentially, we're just using all of these different plugins so that we can really customize the site as much as we want to. And that's the wonderful thing about WordPress.org
Right.
is you can really add so much to it, and it's very easy to add plugins and take away plugins. I think there's actually one more slide of them.
Yes, there is. So would you be available to help if someone was unfamiliar with these? You would take some time and actually go through the site with them when after they purchase the site to teach them a little bit more about how you do it?
Yeah, of course. We'd be happy to help somebody understand how the site works and the various plugins that we're using and the setup that we have. I don't think that most of it is particularly complicated, but it might look more complicated than it really is when you look at this big list of plugins. But essentially, these are really to make our job easier, but we'd love to show somebody how it all works.
Very good. And then we have a couple more.
So you can see we've got an SEO plugin. We've got Super Cache. That's really standard for ensuring that your site is caching properly for good loading speed, which is important for traffic. What else? We've got an affiliate platform that's for being able to manage affiliates that would like to sell our ebooks, and a few other things to do with some images and stuff. So, yeah, those are the primary plugins that we rely on.
Okay, very good. So now this is going to be the themes page. This is how you customize what's on the site, correct?
Right. So we currently have a custom theme that's been designed just for Keeper of the Home. We're working with the Genesis theme in WordPress, but then we've had a custom theme designed within Genesis. So it's all editable, of course.
Very good. For your sidebars, what are we doing with this?
Right. So on the left-hand side, you can see the primary sidebar. So these are the widgets, and you can just add them or take them away as you desire. So we use this to promote popular posts or posts that we'd like people to see. We use it for putting up private ads that sponsors have paid us for. We use it for things like a welcome box, for promoting sign up for our newsletter by downloading our free ebook, things like that. So we really just use our sidebar as a way to continue to add to our email list, to promote people looking at posts, and to just give them more of a feel for what's on the site.
Very good. Now you mentioned the email list a couple times. How strong is that, and how often do you use it?
Yeah, it's in total we have 3 different lists. We have a daily list, and daily just means that every time a post is published, within about an hour, an email goes out to that list. So those are people who want to get our content on a really regular basis. Then we also have a weekly list, and then we also have a deals list, and that's for people who specifically want to know on Tuesdays when we put out a special deal post, and then we also email them when we have any other kind of special deals that we'd like to share with them. So altogether, our lists are about 20,000 strong. And so, as I was explaining, some of those people receive weekly emails, some of them receive emails probably 4 to 5 times a week. And then with the current setup that we have, we're capable of sending out a special news blast when we want to promote something in particular.
Very good. All right. Thank you for answering that for me. Obviously how you do the posts and whatnot, but go ahead and just describe what you do with this.
Oh, this is just actually the bottom of our sidebar widgets.
Gotcha.
And then, yeah, it's just more widgets for putting things into different spots on the page.
Okay, very good. Now this is your dashboard. What are we doing with this? This is how you're actually can check on all the things that you've done, correct?
Right, so this is just the page that you see when you first log into the site on WordPress. And so, you can see at a glance how many posts, comments, all of those things. You can look down the left and you can start a new post, you can create a new page, you can add images to our media library, You can moderate comments or respond to comments. Basically, this is where you can find everything on the site that can be worked with, customized, change the settings, get into the theme, and change the look of the site. This is where you control everything.
Very nice. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the revenue. It is up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does this have to do with? Is this viral? Well, as viral as posts can be for something like this. Is this when you're hitting something very good, or would this be more of when you're actually selling the ebooks?
Yeah, so these spikes happen when we participate in some sort of a special event, which we try to do several times a year. So we try to participate in things like ebook bundles, where we submit one of the ebooks that I've written, which the use of these ebooks is coming along with the sale of the site. So I submit the ebooks into a bundle, I become an author, and then I'm able to promote the bundle sales. It's a one-time event, but we make a lot of money in a short period of time. And we also participate in things like conferences or summits that are really related to our readers. So they might be about healthy living for families, for example. And whenever we promote one of these special events or bundles or something like that, we're able to really bring in a large chunk of income. And so that's a part of the big picture of the revenue that we bring in on a yearly basis.
I see. All right. Expenses kind of up and down, up and down. We did have a little bit of a jump here. Could that have been preparing for one of these events that you were talking about?
Yeah, I can see that that's in August and September, and so we had a big event going on in September. So that probably would have been my team working extra hard to prepare for that event to make sure it was a success.
I got you. Makes perfect sense. Tell us about the day-to-day operation of the site. How often do you work, and how many hours a week, and what exactly how much time do you actually put into the site?
Well, I personally only put in about 5 hours a week to the actual running of the site. I'm also one of the writers, and so when it's my turn to write, and I set the editorial calendar, so when I've chosen that I'd like to write a post at that time, then it takes me a little bit longer, but that's something that I enjoy doing. But of course, those hours aren't required for the operation of the site. They could be replaced by another writer who could fill my shoes. So usually it's about 5 hours, give or take, weekly to actually run the site. And the bulk of that is really spent on managing the team and just continuing to think of new initiatives for growing the site, staying up to date on trends online and in the blogging world and in social media, and making sure that we're just continuing to really do our best to optimize revenue and traffic opportunities.
I understand. Very good. So tell me, if you were going to keep this site, what would you do to help the growth of it?
Well, I think the most important thing that I would continue on with right now is a strong social media presence. That has been our main focus this past year, and it's really paid off. As you can see, our traffic has really been increasing towards the end of the year, and that's because it's been a steady effort over the year to make sure that social media presence was doing really well. And so I would continue that because we're seeing so much success with that. And I know just from being a part of the blogging world these past 8 years that things are continually changing, but social media has really become a constant as far as something that a blog needs to do well, and they need to do often, and they need to stay up to date with changing trends. And that's where so much of our traffic is coming with. So I would continue on with that. The other thing that I would continue on with to ensure sustained growth would be just putting out regular content, excellent content on a regular basis, which is what we've done all along. We haven't been buying traffic or trying to find any ways to get our traffic other than just putting out what we think is going to resonate with people and what people are going to want to share, what they're going to find valuable and helpful. And so I would just make sure that traffic is continuing to go out there, and then that it's really getting shared in social media. And I think with that, the growth would continue.
Okay, very nice. So why exactly are you selling the site?
I've been doing this for almost 8 years, and it's certainly not because the site isn't doing well. In fact, it's not in the stats that you were talking about, because we just got our January stats recently, but January was our highest traffic month ever. I wrote it down. Actually, we had 654,000 unique visitors, over 1 million page views. So, yeah, I mean, that's the best traffic month that we've ever had. So we're really, you know, on an upward climb at this point. So it has nothing to do with where the site is going or how well it's doing. In fact, the last 2 years have been the most profitable the site has ever had. So all of these things are really on the up and up, and maybe it seems like it would be crazy to sell it at that point, but you know, I have some other things that that I'm beginning to work on, that I'm becoming passionate about, and I'd love to put more of my effort into those. So for me, it just feels like the right time to pass on the site and hope that somebody else can continue to see the success that we've seen.
Okay, makes perfect sense to me. Now, here's the point for questions and answers. I wanted to ask you a question. There were a couple of things that you were adamant about when we first listed the site that you wanted to remain the same. Can you tell me about those?
Sure. One of the things that's important to me, and I think this has to do with just working in the online spheres for so many years, is that I want to make sure that authorship is retained for all of the authors who've worked so hard putting out their content over the years, myself included, of course, but all of the other writers that we work with. I just think it's important that no matter who takes over the site, that those authors continue to get credit for the excellent content that they've written. Not only that, I think it's beneficial to whoever buys the site, because a lot of these authors are very reputable bloggers in the niche that we blog in. Their names are recognized, and so I think it's really only beneficial to keep their names on all of the work that they've done. So that was one of them. The other is that I would like to continue writing for a period of time. I've been a part of this for a long time, and even though I feel ready to move on from the overall management of it, I still really enjoy writing. I would love to continue to write once a month, which is about how often I write right now, usually only once or twice a month. And so if the new owner would have me, then that would be something I would be really honored to do, to keep writing content for the site. Again, I think it's beneficial because people have known me as an author and owner of the site for so long. So to have my, you know, just to see that presence, that continuity, I think would be very good for the transition from one owner to another owner. As well, I think that I can bring a lot with adding quality content, you know, to the site, you know, to what the site is putting out each month. So that's something that I'd like to do as well.
Very nice. And I can see no reason why a new owner would not want that to continue on, especially since it's been doing so well in this particular genre. So I understand completely on that. I just wanted to make a point of it so that everybody listening could make note of that and understand what you wanted from the site to sale.
Yeah, thanks, Chip.
Certainly. That would conclude the presentation for today. My name is Chip Bowerly. You can call me at 863-557-3108 or email me at chip@Latonas. I am in constant contact with Stephanie, and we can make sure that all your questions get answered. Again, Stephanie, thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate it. You did a great job explaining everything.
Oh, thank you so much for presenting the site, Chip. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. And this will conclude the presentation for the day. Thank you very much for attending.